to Carmel students and staff. Welcome to part 5 of your total body yoga workout. I can't believe we're on part 5 already. If you haven't looked at parts 1 to 4, it's probably worth doing those first. It may get a little bit quicker and the moves a little bit more complicated, and it will just be taken for granted that you know what a down dog is perhaps. So familiarise yourselves with those first before moving on to part 5, unless you're just really quick at picking things up. We're going to start seated today, so find a nice comfortable position. You don't have to cross your legs if that isn't for you. Barefoot if you can, just to give yourselves a nice grounding, and on a mat or on a floor where you're not going to slip. Noticing how you feel. So let's just start by noticing that breath, hands wherever is comfortable. Notice where the breath is. Maybe how slow or quick it is. Where that breath is bringing movement into the body. And today, as I tell you every week, moving away from pain, never doing anything that hurts. Listen to your body, because only you know how you feel in any particular move. And as you breathe, as you inhale, try and fill your belly and keep the shoulders relaxed. You can even tap your shoulders, so you're consciously stopping them from lifting as you inhale. And you're allowing your whole front body and belly to inflate. And then taking your hands by your sides, just popping them on the floor and just gently push the ground away a little, and notice if you can feel a little bit of activation in your core muscles and just a lift. So even though we're sat here, naturally we want to hunch around the back. Let's see if we can really lift up. Although we're feeling the bottom pushing down into the ground, we're using the hands to almost lift and telescope these ribs away from the belly. Sitting up as tall as you can. And then let's clasp the fingers in front of us, keeping that lift through the ribs, and give them a nice little tug. Maybe if you've been doing a bit of shoulder work, you can feel a bit of a stretch across the back of the neck. And then we're going to push the hands away. Still trying to keep that lift through the ribs. And if that feels okay, maybe you can start to take the hands overhead. And this is where we start to want to hunch everything, and we want to drop the chin, and we want to round our backs. And we have to work really, really hard to lift the ribs, to lift the hands, but to keep the shoulders down away from the ears. It's really hard to do, especially if you're trying to keep the arms straight and the arms alongside the ears without them coming forward. And I appreciate if you lift big weights and you're quite big around the shoulders, it can be difficult. This is where you need to try and bring a bit of flexibility back into the body. And maybe you can twist to your right, keeping the head where it is in between the arms, so you're not twisting the head without the arms, you're moving as one. You're moving from your shoulders, twisting to your right until you can't twist those shoulders anymore. And it's difficult to keep the ribs lifted, because you just want to arch down. And to try and breathe as well is even more difficult. Release the hands in the twist. So your left hand comes to your right knee, your right hand comes behind you, and then maybe you can leave at the shoulders just a little more. Oh, just had a nice big crack in my back. Keeping the ribs lifted, shoulders down. And then you can turn your head a little more if you want to gaze over that right shoulder. Big belly breaths, and maybe you can gaze over your left. Twisting the shoulders to the right, gazing to the left. And release it back to centre. Notice how that felt, just that one single series of movements. Notice your ribs, your back, your shoulders. It's quite intense, as simple as it looks. Let's change the cross on the legs. And let's take a clasp again. You'll naturally, possibly have come to the same position in the clasp. See if you can take the other thumb on top. And then starting to get that nice stretch across the back of the shoulders. and then turning the palms away from you. Lifting the ribs. If your lower back is pinching, just tuck the tailbone under, tuck your bum right under, and then lift the ribs a little more. Maybe you can lift the hands. And remember, we're not hunching the shoulders up and dropping the chin. We are lifting the ribs and dropping the shoulders. Taking the arms back in line with the ears if you can, and keeping the head in line, the centre of the arms, twist from the shoulders. So you're not gazing with your neck yet, just that twist from your shoulders. And you may feel this quite strongly in your ribs, across your core muscles, maybe in your back. Strongly doesn't mean pain, it means you can feel what's going on. And then releasing your right hand to your left knee. Left arm behind you, and maybe the shoulders can come down away from the ears and twist a little more. And then gaze over that left shoulder if it feels okay. Belly breaths. Lift through the ribs. Shoulders down. And maybe gaze the other way. Twist the shoulders to the left, gazing to the right. And as you release, don't do it in a, say ping pong. That's not the word I'm looking for. What's the word? No, ping. Don't spring back to centre, do it gently. I've got no idea what I'm trying to say. One of those days today. And notice how lovely and full that breath can be now after that restricted breathing. Okay, we are going to come onto our backs. And we're going to keep the knees bent. And we're going to take the feet just in front of the knees or under the knees, whatever feels good for you. Quite simple moves now, but they're going to get quite intense. You're going to gently bring the fingertips to the back of the head, not so that it squishes your chin into your chest, but you're still gazing up to the ceiling. And you may already feel your core muscles, and that's okay if that's where you want to stay. If you want a little bit more, you're just going to pick your knee and foot up. So your knee is over your hip, both sides, one at a time, and then your feet are in line with your knees. So we don't lift two at the same time, we always lift one at a time, because otherwise it can put a bit of pressure on our backs. And then from here, inhale. As you exhale, push your lower back down into the floor even more. Lift the chest, inhale. And with every exhale, see if you can lift the chest a little more. Inhale. And exhale, push the lower back down. So every breath is bringing intensity into this pose. This isn't just a little walk in the park, it's an intense core pose. Inhale, feel the belly. Exhale, push the lower back down. Lift the shoulders, chin away from the chest. You're lifting to the ceiling. Last one, inhale. And exhale, push the floor away. And take it down. If that was too much, you can lower your feet to the floor. You can rest your head down, you don't have to do two together. If that felt okay, we're going to try that again with a twist. So, knees coming in one at a time until they're both in, and then lifting the head and shoulders off the floor. You can drop the feet a little, it does make it easier, or you can bring the knees into the chest. Otherwise, we're looking for that right angle. We're going to inhale. As we exhale, we twist opposite elbow to opposite knee. Inhale, centre, and twist. Using the breath, inhale, and twist. Inhale, and you're twisting the shoulder, not the elbow. The twist is from the shoulder. Inhale. And doing it slow makes it so much harder. One more. And rest. Oh, do whatever feels good to relieve out of there. And we've got one more modification. So you've got those two options. You can go back to option one. We've just done option two, or you can join me in option three. So the only difference with option three now is that if you lift the elbow to the knee, just as we just did, that makes sense, then you can straighten the opposite leg. And we're going to hold that for a breath. Then we're going to come back to centre, then we're going to twist and straighten the leg. Oh, I can feel that one already. So, when you are ready, Gently placing the fingertips at the back of the head. Don't tug on the head. Knees over the hips, feet in line. Really pushing the spine down so we have no air between the lower back and the floor. Inhale. Exhale, twist, doesn't matter which way, straighten the opposite leg. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, twist a little more, push your lower back down. Inhale, and exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale, twist the other way, hold. Inhale. Exhale, twist a little more. Inhale, and exhale, center. One more each side, inhale. Exhale, twist, hold. Inhale. Push the lower back down, exhale. Inhale, center. Oh, I can feel this one, exhale. I think I've done a breathing wrong there, inhale. Exhale, twist, hold, inhale. Exhale, twist even more. Inhale, center. Oh, exhale, relax. If you didn't feel that, my goodness me, please send me a message so you can let me know what your core routine is. Okay, what are we doing now? We're going to come straight over and come onto our hands and knees. And then we're going to lift straight up into a downward dog. So let's tuck the toes and let's push the ground away. So the shoulders come back. The hands are nice and wide. You can feel the whole of the palms of the hands on the floor. And then the legs are as straight as is comfortable for you. You can take a little wiggle like I am. Sometimes it's nice to wiggle the bottom or bend one knee at a time as you push the ground away further and further. Send the backs of the thighs to the back of the room. And now maybe come high up on the balls of your toes. So you're lifting your heels, but you're still pushing your weight backwards. Lifting your bum to the ceiling and then gaze forward. And we're going to try and roll the elbows towards each other. Push the ground away so you can almost feel like the whole outer side of your shoulder is wrapping under, supporting you. And breathe in. Don't gaze forward too strongly if it's hurting the back of your neck. And then send the heels back, but keep those elbows pressing together. Keep that feeling of wrapping the shoulders around. And then maybe lifting the right leg into the air. Make sure you're not bending the elbows here. And then maybe you can bend your right foot and lift your right knee into the air. Your right elbow is going to want to bend, so let's keep them really straight. And lift that knee as high as you can. Tuck the bum under as you do it. Breathe and step the right foot to the right hand. Drop your left knee and untuck your left toes. Now before we come up, let's drag the right foot backwards and drag the left knee forwards. Like you're trying to drag them towards each other, and that's going to support your lower body. As you lift up. Lifting the arms into the air. I'm going to face you to do this next bit. Okay, so from here, let's bend that left arm, tapping yourselves on the back. Maybe you can grab hold of that left elbow, tucking the bum under to support your back if you need, and then take a lateral bend to your right. So you're bending towards the foot that's on the floor. And breathe. And then bringing the hands either side of your front foot. Step back. Downward dog. Bring it forward into a plank. Shoulders over wrists. Maybe we can lower down slowly. As you bring the weight forward, coming all the way to your bellies. Taking the hands a little bit wider. Maybe bringing them in front of you, a good few inches. Coming onto the tops of the toes again, pushing your pelvis into the floor, gazes down. Elbows come in, shoulders roll back. Push the ground away, take in your back bend. And it can be a little back bend, or you can straighten the arms. Really clenching through the bottom. Breathe in, roll the shoulders down. And then lowering it down. Pushing the ground away, downward dog. Imagine you're straightening the arms, if you can. You're straightening both legs, like you're doing the splits. And then maybe bending that right knee, trying to kick yourself in the bum with the left knee. Kicking yourself in the bum with the left leg. Lifting the left knee. Keeping the arms straight. Can you lift the knee a little bit higher? And step the left foot forward. Drop the right knee. Untuck the back toes. Magnetize that lower body by bringing the front foot back. Back leg forward. And rise up. You don't ever have to lift the arms in these poses. You can always keep your hands at your chest. And breathe. Do a nice quad stretch, just tuck the bum under even more. And then this time, we're going to drop that right elbow. Drop the right elbow, how do you do that? Drop the right hand down the back and take hold of the right elbow. And then, if you want to try that lateral side bend, we're going to bend to the left, towards that left side. Try to take as big a breath as you can here. And then bringing the hands down each side of the foot, stepping back, downward dog. Can we take it forward into that plank? You can drop the knees if you need, otherwise lower down through chaturanga. Hands come on the floor, a little bit wider, a little bit further forward, gaze is down, roll the shoulders back, push the ground away, really squeeze the pelvis into the floor. You don't have to straighten the arms. If it's causing your shoulders to hunch up, then please take that bend in the arms. Okay, downward dog. Breathe. And if you want to challenge your hamstrings from here, keeping the legs straight, maybe you want to come onto your fingertips, tiptoeing your feet to the top of your mat. Oh, bending your legs, clasping your hands behind you, and then rolling the shoulders back and down. Pulling those fingers, or trying to pull those fingers apart as much as you can, and trying to get the elbows towards each other. And then maybe you can straighten the legs and fold here. Big breaths. Roll the shoulders back, pull the fingertips. Bending the knees, and then coming to stand. Still clasping the hands, pushing the hips forward. And then imagine as you let go of the hands, you're going to fling them back like you're holding onto a block. So those shoulders are still really firmly back. Breathe. Rise up through the hands. And bring the hands to the heart center. Okay. Let's travel through some sun salutations. We're going to do them a little bit differently, and we'll stop and add on and take away and all sorts. So listen to the instruction. It'll be a little bit quicker than the previous classes, possibly. So rising up, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, which is where we lift the chest, lift the bum. Exhale, plank, chaturanga, jump or step. Inhale, you can drop down to that cobra or keep your knees off the floor and take an upward dog. And then downward dog. Lifting the right leg into the air. And then stepping the right foot forward to the right hand, keeping the back knee off the floor as you start to rise up. Lifting the arms and then straightening through the front leg. Inhale here. Exhale, bend the front knee. And straighten. And bend. And straighten. And bend. And then straighten. As you bend, reach the arms forward. You're going to step forward and take the arms back like you're diving. And then taking the arms wide, come all the way to standing. Inhale. Exhale, straight back down. Halfway lift, lift the chest, lift the bum. Plank chaturanga. and downward dog. Tummy's nice and tight. Lift the left leg and stepping it through to a high lunge. So back knee stays off. Remember to lock, magnetize the lower body, dragging the front foot back and the back knee forward as you rise up. Lift the arms and maybe straightening through the front leg. You can always drop the arms if you need. Inhale, exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. This is a balance. Inhale and exhale. Lean forward, step it forward, shoot the arms back, really stretch the shoulders, take the back, big open with the arms, and diving straight back down. Halfway lift, lift the chest, lift the bum, chaturanga, back bend, bit quicker now, downward dog. Let's lift the right leg into the air. Step it through to the right hand, rising straight up as you did before, straightening the arms, straightening the legs. As you bend through the front leg, reach forward, step it forward, take the arms back. Rise up, straight back down. Halfway lift, lift the chest, lift the bum. Plank chaturanga. Back bend. And downward dog. And let's take that left leg up in the air, doing it again. Stepping the left foot forward as you rise up, straightening that front leg. And as you bend the front leg, lean forward, step it through, shoulders roll back. Rise up. And straight back down. Halfway lift. Plank chaturanga. And back bend. And downward dog. Enjoy a couple of breaths here. Big belly breaths as you inhale. And out. Another one, inhale, you can sigh it out through the mouth. Lift in the right leg. How high can you lift that right leg without lifting the right hip? So drop the left butt cheek and then lift the foot even higher. And then step it to the right hand, drop the left knee. So this time, you're keeping your back toes tucked under. We would normally flatten the top of the foot in this pose, but we're going to keep them tucked. Lifting the arms if that's comfortable. And I'm just going to change sides. Okay. What we're going to do here, keeping the back toes tucked, is start to twist to the left. Watch that front knee, the right knee, doesn't cave into the centre. So keep that right knee opening out to the right little toe. Twisting the body to the left. And then opening the arms. Like you're in a warrior two, but you've got your knee down. And then maybe your back hand can go behind you. And if you've got it today, you can wrap those fingers on the inner thigh. If you haven't, they can just rest anywhere on your back and see how that feels. And what we're going to do as we tuck, toes are tucked, so we're going to use the tucked toes to lift the back knee. And as we do that, we're going to straighten the front leg, so it'll look like this. Straightening the front leg, dropping the arm, and taking that back heel down. So we're a bit in a triangle with two straight legs, so we can give that a go. So straightening the front leg, dropping the hand, taking that back heel down. And if that's too wide a pose for you, just bring that back foot in. Now let's focus on our twist. As you roll your shoulder back, maybe you can gaze behind you. Maybe you can unwrap your back hand and take it back, always keeping that opening in that left shoulder, left armpit. And then maybe you can lift it up. Notice what your bottom and hips are doing. Have they jutted back? If so, tuck them under. And then you can drop down a little more. And you're going to breathe. Your gaze is wherever feels good. Bending through your front leg. Maybe you can wrap that hand around again. Keeping a bend in the front leg this time as you lift up into a reverse warrior. So you're pushing the weight into that back heel. Back leg is nice and straight. Reversing, listen to your back, don't do anything that hurts. Use your butt cheeks to stop you from caving into your lower back. And then let's bring it all the way to the floor. Hands down, and you're going to lift up into a side plank. So taking your right foot back, right hand is down, lifting the left arm off the floor. You can always drop your right knee. Maybe you can float your left leg into the air. Tummy's in, hips come forward. And be careful with your right shoulder joint now as you take your left foot to the floor behind you. And then maybe you can bring your right foot in alignment. So we're like in a crab that you used to do at school. Lift up through the hips and take your left arm back so you're in a back bend. And you're breathing. Deeply bend your knees to swing round, downward dog. And breathe. I'm going to swap sides while you have some breaths there. Let's keep the energy high. We're taking a little flow. Let's come forward into a plank just because we can. Take a chaturanga. Take any back bend that feels good. Take a downward dog. Lift the left leg into the air. Drop the left butt cheek so you haven't opened the hip. And then send that heel as high as you can into the air. And stepping your left foot forward. Right knee down. Tensing up that lower body to protect you as you rise up into your crescent lunge with your toes tucked. Keeping that left knee stable, so not allowing it to rock into the middle. Start to turn your upper body. So you're taking your left knee to the left and your body to the right, and then maybe opening up those arms and breathing. Always trying to tuck the bum under. Wrapping the back arm around the back. And then maybe you can always help it a little bit, hooking it on that inner thigh if you can get there. With the toes tucked at the back, as we start to lift and straighten the front leg a bit. Maybe the front arm can drop and we can drop that back heel. So we're setting ourselves up for triangle. The front leg doesn't have to be perfectly straight. They do what's good for you. Start to open through the chest. Maybe take the gaze backwards and take your right arm to the back of the room. Or maybe up into the air. And then you can squeeze your hips forward. Imagine your back body is against a wall. And by squeezing the glutes and tucking your hips forward, that's your support. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. And then bend the front knee. Take that back arm around to the wrap. And then maybe we can take a little back bend as we reverse the warrior. And I'm rolling onto the little toe edge of that back foot to keep my back knee nice and safe. And breathe. Get ready for our side plank. So we bring the hands down. And then keeping the left hand down. Plank. Lifting the right arm. Side plank. And side plank, we tend to want to take the bum back. See if you can squeeze the hips forward and maybe lift the right leg if you're there today. Don't worry if you're not. And if you want to join in with a little back bend, we're going to step that right foot to the floor behind the left. Maybe we can bring the left leg in alignment with it and lift up through the hips into that back bend. Be careful with your left shoulder joint. Deep bend with the knees, downward dog, and breathe. Lift up through the toes, bend the knees, gaze is forward, and you can step or you can start to take a little jump to the front of your mat and let your head go. Halfway lift, deeper fold, and rise up, and hands to the heart. Let's do another little sequence. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Plank chaturanga. You can always step back and drop the knees. Back bend. Downward dog. Breathe. Firming through the left foot, lifting up through the right. And it's the push down with that left side that lifts that right foot even higher. Strong arms, step it through. Dropping that left knee, keep the left toes tucked under as we rise up. Hands straight back down now. I'm going to take a balance. We're going to come straight up onto our right foot and lift the left leg off. You can always use blocks under your hands. If that feels okay, you can start to open through your left hip, excuse my back. Lift the left arm into the air. Half moon. Keep the gaze down for more stability. And maybe you can bend your left leg, take hold of the ankle and breathe. Tummy's in. Releasing the foot gracefully, bringing your left hand down in line with your right foot if you've got that. And as you push the right foot into the ground, lift the left leg and melt your body down over the right, standing splits. So you're just trying to get the feet as far apart from each other as they can. Dropping your left foot down. We're going to come into a split dog, which means you're just going to lift your right leg straight back and up into the air. Okay. From here, you're going to hop your left foot in a little. I'm just going to do a little bit of handstand practice. So what you're going to do, as you kick the right leg into the air, you're just going to try and get your left foot to your bum. Try to keep the shoulders over the wrists, just with some little hops. Just a couple of little hops to practice, pushing the ground away. And if you can do handstand, crack on. And then when you've had a few goes, downward dog. Well done. Let's bend the knees, come high on the balls of the feet, gazes forward. Bring yourselves to the top of your mat. In any way that feels good. Let your head go. Rise yourselves up. Hands to the heart. Let's do the other side. Rise up. And forward fold. Halfway lift. Plank chaturanga. Back bend. And downward dog. Let's lift that left leg. High, high, high. Straight, strong arms, push the ground away, spread the feet as far apart as you can, and then stepping it through, dropping the right knee, toes remain tucked. Rise up. Bring the hands down, coming into that balance. So keeping the left foot on the floor, floating the right leg into the air. Seeing how that feels. And you can stay here with the gaze down, or you can start to open the right hip, maybe lifting the right arm up. You can always use blocks here, whatever feels good. And you can always keep that standing leg straight. The only time to definitely not straighten it is if you're hypermobile, then you keep a slight bend in that knee. Maybe you can bend the top foot. You can always use a wall here, because then at least you've got your balance and you're still doing the moves, so you're still going to get that really intense glute work and hip and leg work. As you release the leg gracefully, Bring the hands down. Can you melt over that front leg? I know that your glutes will be screaming at you. Split dog. Lift that right leg as high as you can. And then step back. Left foot into the air. Split dog. We're going to take a little hop forward on the right foot. And one side is always worse than the other. This is my terrible side. Handstand practice if you wish. Just lift in the left leg and then kick in the right bum into the air. Right bum into the air, the right foot into the bum. Just trying to get a little bit of distance. And downward dog. Bending the knees, gazes forward. And bring yourself to the top of your mat. Let yourself go. Halfway lift. And a deeper fold. Push the ground away, rise up. And hands to the heart. Okie dokie. Let's rise up. And forward fold. And let's take a halfway lift. Plank chaturanga. Back bend. Downward dog. Hopping straight to the front of the mat again. And staying here with bent knees. Let's clasp the hands behind our backs. Really rolling the shoulders back as much as you can. And then from here, taking the weight into the right foot. Kicking your left heel behind you. Maybe you can start to straighten both legs. You're flexing the toes, the back foot. And then maybe you can release your hands into an aeroplane or by the side. Or be careful, you can, ooh, it's hard, you can take them in front of you. Really activating through the glutes, kicking that back heel away. Strong, strong pose. And then bringing the hands down, stepping the foot back, and just letting it go, having a minute. Oh, it's tough. Plank, chaturanga. Back bend. Down dog. Last little sequence now, you've got this. Hop forward. Stay here. The opposite clench, so take the other thumb to the top. Roll the shoulders back and clench. Clasp even. And then the weight this time into the left leg. As you kick your right heel back, one side is harder. And slowly, slowly does it. Gaze stays focused. Feel the big toe of the left foot on the floor. And then maybe release the hands. Aeroplane. Or, what if I'm doing this side? Taking them forward. Oh, it's tough, it's tough, it's tough. Breathe. And stepping it back. Oh, I was going to say collapse over the front leg, but that's not really yoga, is it? Gracefully lower yourself down. Plank. Chaturanga. Back bend. Downward dog. Drop the knees. Take them wide. Feet together. And enjoy a very, very well-deserved child's pose. Take some big, big breaths into that belly. And then come to rest on your back. Okay. Going to take our feet together and let our knees drop out wide. So it's an inner thigh stretch and a hip stretch. We're going to add some core work in. So if this is too much for you, you can just bring your knees together. You can place cushions underneath your knees or your thighs to help with that support. You can take your feet further away to make it easier on the inner thighs, or if you want it more intense, you can bring your feet towards your groin. And what we're going to do is take the arms overhead. You might want to watch the first go. We're going to inhale with the arms overhead, and as we exhale, we're going to sweep our hands across the floor and come to a sit-up. So it looks like this. Inhale, and then exhale. is really important, because if you don't try and blow the air out, you're going to tense and you're going to hold your breath, because this is a really hard pose. And if you can't make it up, inhale, exhale to here. Don't squish the chin, keep the gaze up when you're ready. And sweeping the hands along the floor if you can. We're not using them for momentum coming overhead. They're going out to the sides, otherwise you're making it too easy. Let's see if we can do 2 more. Well done. Come onto your bellies. Be careful with this if you have sore shoulders. So you're going to take your right arm out to the side at the right angle and gaze to your left. So if I was doing it on my left side, it would look like this. So my right arm is out to the side, and then very carefully, I'm going to roll. My right arm is out and I'm rolling onto my right side. You can bend your knees to take the pressure out of this. And then if you wish, you can bring your right leg onto the floor. So this is a huge shoulder stretch. Right arm is out, rolling onto my right side, and my right leg, my left leg, is going behind me. Like I say, you can bend the knees and bring them into the chest if that's too much, or you can just stay on your bellies for a minute. 1 more breath. Careful as you come out of this, rolling back onto your bellies, taking the left arm out, gently does it as you push yourself over, and you can bring that foot onto the floor, or you can keep your knees bent. Listen to your backs, listen to your shoulder. Wherever you are, try and relax. Last breath, and then bringing it back. Rolling all the way over onto our backs, and let's finish with some nice rock ups. Holding the backs of the thighs, or if possible, not holding on at all. And what we're going to do is rock up, but the aim of this is to not let your heels drop below your knees at any point. So it's the control of that last little bit of the move. To come up and hold just for a second. So although we are using momentum, if it's too much, you can hold on to the backs of your thighs, or you can drop your feet, but it's that control at the end. And as we come into the last one, we're going to hold. Relax the shoulders. So this is working our hip flexors, working our core. Maybe you can take the hands to the inside of the thighs and hook your fingers around your big toes. You'll notice that naturally you might want to round the back and drop the chin. See if you can roll the shoulders back and down and lift the chest. And maybe straightening one leg. And smiling. We are done, so definitely worth a smile. And one leg. And you know what's coming. 2 legs. Oh! And breathe. Shoulders back and down. Lift the chest. And for 10 seconds, let go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Shaky, shaky. 3, 2, 1. And now you are done. Bring the knees in. Take the arms wide. Let's just gently rock from side to side. Let all those cracks and whatever else is going on ease their way out. Big, slow breaths. And then finding stillness. Feet wide, knees together. Resting the hands wherever's comfortable. Arms, elbows, nice and wide. And then just take 2 to 3 breaths, feeling your hands being lifted. Not judging what you've done today, if you can. And rolling onto one side, gently coming up to seated. keeping it slow and kind. As you ground down through the sit bones, telescope those ribs up. And notice how you feel. Notice the energy that you have created in your body. And that's not some spiritual yoga saying you have created energy. You are no doubt warmer than you were at the start. Your heart rate will be more elevated. You have created that energy. But see if you can actually feel that inside your body. See if you can notice the pulse or any buzzing or the extra electricity. And bringing your hands to your heart center. Pushing the fingers into the chest and the chest into the fingers to create that last little bit of lift. Gently bowing your heads. Bringing your thumbs to your foreheads just to seal the practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. I hope you all enjoyed that. Feedback is always welcome. If it's too fast, too slow, too complex, too simple, please let me know. And I will see you next week for the final part of our total body workout.